Hey everyone, welcome to week 3 of FL Studio music production. Again, this week I am completely unsure as to what we're going to be doing, so we should probably ask everyone what you want to do. Just pop it in the chat, guys, what you think we should do this week. Do you think we should do the same thing as last week, maybe, or do something different? It's completely up to you. What do you mean by calm? Isn't really a genre. You can make more. Calm is just like a sort of mood. It's not really a genre. Like I think what you're thinking is something along the lines of atmospheric more than calm. Blues would be fun if I knew how to make it. But I can always try. So yeah, blues could indeed be fun. Mari, have you got any other ideas? Okay, well that's fine. Personally, oh, don't mind. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Personally, I think it's gonna be easier to do the atmospheric sort of thing in FL Studio. So I'm guessing people want something that's relatively easy because we're still sort of in the beginner phase. So I think we'll go for a more atmospheric sort of thing this week. So I'm gonna assume you've all got your FL Studio open. So what you're gonna want to do? Oh, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong project open. So what you're going to do is, first things first, we need to find our drums. I believe you should know where to find them now in either drums or drums mode audio. So I'll let you browse through the kicks again and pick one that you think is quite quiet. Not a big thumpy kick, just quite a quiet one. For instance, I'm probably gonna end up don't use any of the attack kicks if you're going in drums mode audio. Don't use any of the collider kicks either, I don't think. Or any of the downstream kicks. Yeah, Harvey?
I'm just wondering where to find that list.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it's just over on the left of FL Studio. If you click on Pat, then you should see drums mode audio. Then you click on that, then click on kicks, and you'll see all the kicks. And you can just click on them and use the up and down arrows to play through them, or you can scroll and click to preview them.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So I'm going to use Volt Clean Kick 35 personally. You can use a completely different kick if you want to. We have a duplicate Harvey. You can use a completely different kick if you want to, but personally, I'm going to use this one. Give everyone maybe 2 minutes to find a kick, or maybe a minute, sorry, to find a kick, and then we'll move on. If you know where to find all the other samples, like snares and hi-hats, you can move on and just do those. But just in case anyone can't, I'll go through it as well.
Oh, and how do you get rid of the 808 kick?
You can actually just drag whatever kick you want on top of the 808 kick, and it will replace the 808 kick with that kick.
Okay.
This works for any sound, by the way. So if I was to say get a I think I've accidentally replaced it. Yeah, there's another thing. If you have if you click on your kick and then click the close button, or you just click this little rectangle next to the kick, and then you can, if you have a mouse like this one, you can actually middle click on a new sound and it automatically replaces it for you. It's just a neat little thing you can do. You don't have to do. You don't have to know this though. I don't even use this. It's just something that could be useful to know in future. So if you've all got your kicks, you're going to scroll up to the top, click on kicks again, make sure it's closed, and then go on snares. And again, get a more quiet one this time. So none of these snares are really too quiet. They're either too quiet or not quiet enough. You need to get that like perfect mix of it still sounds like a snare, but it's also quite quiet and not a very punchy snare is the way we usually describe them as producers. So or if you want to go even calmer than a snare, use a clap instead, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the MA trauma clap, but you can use a completely different clap if you wish to. And whichever one you don't use of a clap and a snare, make sure to delete the one that you are not using. So for instance, 808 snare, since I'm using a clap, I'm going to delete the snare. If you're using a snare, you would delete the clap. Give everyone another minute or so to do that. Okay, so giving everyone a little bit of time to do that. Now we're going to move on to the hi-hats. You can find those just in hi-hats here. Make sure to close claps. And again, pick quite a quiet one. So I'm going to go for the Collider Desert Sea Hat. Drag that on top, and then you are done with your sound selection. You can pick different sounds to me, or you can pick the same ones if you wish to. I would recommend going for different ones though, just because it makes things a little more interesting, and then you're actually using some creativity. You're not just completely copying off a tutorial. Because you can see there's hundreds of hi-hats here. You don't have to pick this specific one. And also, if you're using, and that's just in the drums mode audio. If I go into drums, no, those are the kicks. You can see there's even more hi-hats you could use. Same thing goes for the kicks. Same thing goes for the snares. There's hundreds upon hundreds of different sounds you could use. So don't feel limited to use the same samples that I'm using. And this session is going to be a lot more open as well. I'm going to leave you a lot more open as to which sounds you select when we open up Flex. Or we could use a different plugin if you wish to this week. We could use one that actually involves you creating the sound, or we could just use a piano, or we could use a bass. There's loads of sounds. It's just the thing is, Flex is very easy to use because it is just presets. You don't have to do any actual sound design, which makes it absolutely perfect for beginners. So I'm going to assume that everybody's found their hi-hat by now. So if you just go ahead and click the plus and hit Flex, open up Flex, and Flex will pop up. If you've been here for our past two sessions, you should be aware of what this little plugin is by now. But if you're not, it is a plugin in FL Studio, absolutely full of presets. You can actually download more presets, by the way. You can see I've got loads of different banks here. That's what these are called. These are called banks. They're sound banks. So you can see I've got loads of them here. I haven't actually paid a penny for these. So if you want to get the same ones I have, it'll make things a lot easier for me because I'll be able to use all of the sounds in Flex, and it'll make things a lot more free for you because there are so many more sounds in the other packs. It'll take a while to download, but you can actually click on free, and then you should see all of the other packs down here. If you just click on the button that will be where my mouse is, you should be able to download them all. But you don't have to do this. It's just, it would make things a lot easier on my end because I can, with the trial, I can't download. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, so the trial, you can't download packs then. Never mind, forget what I just said. So we'll just use the basic ones, which, if I'm right, should be Arcoon Cityscape, General MIDI Library, Mobile Synth Pluck, Mobile Tuned 808 Bass, and Olbide Compendium, sorry. So what you can actually do then is click on all at the bottom. You can bring up every sound that there is. And to make things a lot more open, what you can do is go tags and then go soft and long. And you can pick any of these sounds here. You'll have a lot less than I will, but that's absolutely fine. Just pick any of the sounds here. I'm going to go for dystopian lead, but you can go for absolutely any sound that there is. You just click on tags down at the bottom here, and then click on each tag to select it. You can't then click on tags at the bottom yet again, by the way, because if you do that, it will remove the filters, and you'll just get every single thing there is again. So you're going to go tags, make sure you keep tags open, and select one of these sounds. So once you have selected your sound, you're going to go ahead and close Flex, right click on your sound, open up the piano roll, and click in your melody. Now, I was just coming up with a melody on my keyboard a second ago. And this actually involves, this melody, sorry, involves two notes being played at once. Now, I don't think I told you this, but you can actually stack notes in FL Studio. So, for instance, if I was to put an F there, bar beat one, bar one, and I was to put an A there as well, and then I was to play, it does actually play both of them at once, which I think is pretty cool. Now, it's just said my PC is low on power, so while you get caught up with me, I'm just going to plug that in. Okay, so now that that's plugged in, we can get on with the actual melody creation. Now, for a more atmospheric sound, you're going to need to use longer, more drawn out notes. And to make those notes longer, what you can do, click on the very left and then drag it to the left. This will make them longer. I wouldn't say make them any longer than a bar. I would. How do you get to piano? Oh, sorry, Patrick. You need to close flex and then right click on whatever sound. Right click on whatever sound you selected in flex, and then click piano roll, and it should open up. So then if you click on the very left of a note that you've placed, you can drag it out using left to right, which will change the length of it. I would recommend maybe putting it about here or here. Making it like maybe 2 beats long or a full bar long is probably about the longest you should make it. So now I'm gonna lay down create the melody. I'll give you maybe 10 minutes, shall we say, to do the same. Oh, I forgot to mention actually, you will need to tap out the tempo again. So what you're going to do is go to the top, right click on this number, click tap, and then if you can't remember from last week, or you weren't here last week, a tempo is the speed at which your song will go. So for instance, if your song was your tempo would be 1, 2, 3, 4 would be your tempo, which in this case would be 109 beats per minute. Now you can do the same thing with this tempo tapper by right clicking on your tempo, clicking tap, and then just tapping out the rhythm that you want. So for instance, if I wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I would click that out. However, that's extremely quick and you don't need to do that. I'm going to go for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, you can go for a completely different tempo. You could go for even like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and end up with 341 beats per minute if you really wanted to. But I would recommend staying quite slow for this.
Thorfinn, I accidentally put it out too fast, and I'm not sure how to undo that.
That's fine. Just what you do, just close the tempo tapper, this little button here, and then go back on it, and it'll reset. Or just stop tapping for a bit, and then begin tapping your tempo again, and then it will reset.
Yeah,
So
okay.
here I've got 355. Wait a little bit. It's gone back down. So you can just do that, and then you should be okay. So I'll just give everyone maybe 5 minutes to make sure that's all done. Oh, and that reminds me, if you've just forgotten completely how to make a note, these lines here are bar lines. Just click on one of these bar lines to make a note on a line, or click on any of these four, and then you can click and drag on the note to move it. So I'll just give everyone maybe 5 minutes just to get their melodies finished. Okay, judging by all the board faces, I think we've done our melodies by now. So we can move on to adding the drums. Now, the reason I've left the drums until after the melody is because they have this thing on them which is called reverb, and usually quite a lot of it. So, do you see these numbers next to all of the next to all of the different instruments? If you do, then just click on it. Click on the one that says 2 and drag it down so that it says 1. Then also click on the one that says 3 and drag it down so that it says 1. Then click F9. It should already have insert 1 selected. So what you can do, go over to slot 1 and click Fruity Reverb 2. This adds a thing called reverb onto the instruments, which just makes it a more reverberated, is the only word I can use to describe it, sound. It's adding reverb to something is like playing it in a larger room. So, for instance, if I was to, for instance, hit my desk like this, you can hear that it's quite a hit and that's it sound. Like it's just one quick hit that's over and done very quickly. You don't get anything more than that. However, if I was to add reverb on, if I was to hit a table in a cathedral, you would be able to hear like it's sort of echoing, but also not echoing. Well, it's like echo almost, but it's not really an echo. Sorry, it's much easier to actually hear than to explain. So just go ahead and add reverb to your first insert, then close reverb, close the mixer with F9 again, and just put down a kick, and you'll hear what reverb is.
Thorfinn,
Yes, Murray?
how do you get the
Oh, reverb? Sorry, yeah, what you do is you click on slot 1 in the mixer. You open the mixer with F9. You click on slot 1 to bring up this menu. Then you just click on Fruity Reverb 2, which is under the Delay Reverb category. It's beneath Fruity Delay Bank and will be above Fruity Blood Overdrive, which has a very weird name, but is in fact just a distortion plugin. So nothing to worry about there. After you've got your reverb on, what you can do is just do what we've done every other week, close the mixer, and create your pattern. And if you want much quicker hi-hats, if you remember, you could go right click on them and then click fill each 2 steps. But because this is a much slower piece, I would recommend going for fill each 4 steps, sorry. And you can use these knobs that are here as well to bring the volume down of something, like I'm going to do with these hi-hats, or bring the volume up of something, like I'm going to do with this kick. Oh, and remember, if you have the tempo tapper on, this here, make sure to click on it so that you don't hear it when you're actually playing your piece. Okay, so I'll give you maybe another 5 minutes just to get your drums all ready. And I've been doing some thinking, and since we started half an hour earlier today, because there was no meeting with Les, I think, would everyone like us to finish half an hour earlier? This is just a quick question to everyone. You can put the answer in chat if you want to. Because usually our sessions are an hour long, and I think everyone's quite all right with that length. So I was wondering if, since we started half an hour earlier, if people would rather we ended half an hour earlier so that the session's still just about 1 hour length. Okay, Patrick says okay. Harvey? Harvey doesn't mind. And Mari? Mari says yes. So we have one person saying a definite yes. We have one person saying, yeah, I would be okay with that. One person who doesn't mind. So overall, I'd say that's definitely weighing more towards the yes side. Mari doesn't mind either. But still, I think we're definitely more weighing over to the yes side. So I think we'll end at 7:30 instead. Just to make sure these sessions are consistent with their length. So everybody's done their drums. We can add a bass if you wish to, or we could add a higher pitch sound like a piano. You can do either. If you wanted a higher pitch sound like a piano, for a piano you would go to FL keys after pressing plus. For a lower pitch sound like a bass, you could either use boo bass for a realistic bass guitar sound, or you could go to flex like I'm going to do for a synthesized guitar sound. I'm going to go into Archon Cityscape and then go tags and bass, and I am going to use dark resonance. Which I think is quite a good one. And you just create your bass the same way that you created your lead, by closing flex, going onto the piano roll, and then just clicking it in. And here's a quick tip for you as well. To bring something that you clicked in an octave down or an octave up, press Control and A, and then press Control and down to go down, or Control and up to go up. And as long as you're holding Control, you can use either arrow at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but you can use either arrow very quickly. And I would also recommend setting your bass to a separate mixer channel, like I'm going to do here with number 2, and then opening up your mixer, going on slot 1, and adding a sound goodizer to it. This makes it much more prominent and easy to hear, but what I would also do is bring the volume of it down with this big slider here. I'll just give everyone a couple of minutes to catch up with that. But remember, you could also use boo bass for a bass, or if you were to use a more high-pitched sound, you would go FL keys for a piano, or flex again, but this time, instead of selecting bass like I did, you'd go all, and then lead, and then just select one that you think works. So for instance, I am going to use the, I remember, just because it doesn't sound very atmospheric at the moment, doesn't mean you can't make it atmospheric very easily, by using this little reverb function within Flex. If you just turn that up, you'll get obviously much more reverb on it, which usually makes sounds a lot more atmospheric. So for instance, a sound I'm going to use is echo drop. However, I'm going to use this master filter and turn down the cutoff, which takes out some of the high frequencies, making it a lot more quiet.
Thorfinn,
What was that, Harvey? Yeah?
in Flex, how do you get a piece of music to play a sample?
You're not actually able to. The thing I would recommend is closing Flex, right-clicking on this little green dot, and then clicking solo next to Flex. Then what I would do is open up your piano roll and just put down a single note on C5. Then close your piano roll, and then you can play it. And then if you change sounds, it will still play that. And then you, even if it is after a little while, and then you can get an idea of what it sounds like. So you can just do that for your sounds, and then you'll get an idea of what they sound like before you actually use them.
Yeah.
I am going to pick and then, oh, and by the way, to unsolo them, you just right click on the little green dot again, and then click solo again. So I'm going to put down another little melody here. And now I've done that, I'll give everyone maybe 4 minutes to just use all the little tips and tricks I've showed, and use Flex, use the piano roll, use the mixer if you're happy to, and just make something that they are happy with. I'll give everyone maybe another 5 minutes just to do that. And then I believe that'll probably be us nearly out of time. So I'll just do a quick little bit of arranging, and then we will call it a day on our pieces. No, sorry, we're not going to do any arranging. We're actually just going, no, sorry, we are going to do some arranging. It's going to be very simple. We're just going to keep this going for a little bit. This is what we have here. So I'll just give everyone 5 minutes to just get to a point, sorry, 4 minutes, just to get to a point at which they're happy. If you have any questions or queries, I will be here just to ask me anything. Okay, everybody's looking a little bit bored. And most people have turned their cameras off. So I'm gonna assume that we are actually done with our piece for now. So what we're gonna do is up at the top, instead of saying Pat, click on Song, and then click on pattern 1, drag it out to here, and then drag it right to the left. Then to make sure it's not just what would this be? This would be 5 seconds long. To make sure it's not just 5 seconds long, what we're going to do is just hit Control B a few times, maybe. I'm going to put mine up to bar 28, but you could put yours a lot longer if you wanted to. I'll make it 1 minute 7 seconds, but you can make yours longer, you can make yours shorter. What we're doing here is we are determining how long the track is going to be when we actually export it. So once you've Control B'd a couple of times, you're going to go File. Harvey, we can hear you.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So you're going to go File. Then you're going. It sounded good, by the way. So you're going to go File. You're going to go Export. Then you're going to go MP3 file. Click on that. It'll open up a window. Save it as atmospheric, or just calm chromar if you want to. Save it as calm chromar, and then just hit enter to save it, and then just click start. It'll take about maybe 30 seconds or so to export it. And then once it has exported, you are done. Once it's exported, you're done. So yeah. I'll let everybody just get to that point, and then yeah, we'll end off the session, I suppose. So just give them maybe a minute or two just to get up to where they've got their saved project. I'll just leave the meeting on my computer actually, because we won't be needing the screen share anymore. And yeah. Patrick already has. That's absolutely brilliant, Patrick. But we'll just give everybody else a couple of minutes just to catch up.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just plugging my headphones into my laptop now. Okay, so everybody should, I hope, be up to that point by now. So I'm getting some nods from Harvey. So I think everyone is, meaning that that's us done for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this session. Hopefully everyone watching on YouTube has enjoyed this session, and hopefully I'll see you next week. And just in general, hope you've got a better understanding of the pack system, the layering of notes, which can be known as chords, is known as chords. Sorry, in the music industry, if there's more than 3 notes. Well, a chord is a little bit more complex than just 3 notes on top of each other. But it's kind of a basic understanding of what a chord is. So that's kind of what we're doing this week. Next week we'll be taking a genre and focusing more on using actual chords as well as more complex melodies, and we'll also be incorporating different percussions into our beats as well. So hopefully you're all looking forward to that, and hopefully I will see you next week.